Austrian looking houses. But even here, outside of the center of the city where I'm driving now, they still keep with the theme. They still stick with the theme. I do like it. Haben Sie viele Leute, die Deutsch sprechen hier?
Ja, ungefähr 50% Deutsch
Oh, das ist
sprechen.
ganz
Ja, aus Österreich.
Ja.
Wenn es kalt ist, ein Deck, es kalt, ne?
Ja, das verstehe ich.
so ein bisschen.
Das habe ich
ne?
verstanden.
Hat's verstanden?
Ja.
Oh ja, wenn du einen Kaffee willst machen. Da ist Kaffee, da ist Zucker, da ist Torti.
Ja, let's go.
Du bist alleine hier?
Ja.
Bist du alleine hier?
Ja.
Ja? So sing allein.
Ja, allein singen.
Mein Gottchen, Roland.
Tourismus.
Gute Nacht.
Guten Nacht. Tschüss.
Nicht verstehen Deutsch.
So this is what I ordered. It is pork with some potatoes and sauerkraut here and some sausage here and some rice because we're in Brazil. This is supposed to be a special dish from this area, which I mean, that's how they put it on the menu, but it's generally Austrian German cuisine, but with some rice. It's really good. You can just pull it apart. I like to eat it with the rice and some sauerkraut. Goes very well together. I'm a big fan. Here we have the city gate of the city of Treze Tílias, which has a very large Austrian and specifically Tyrolean Austrian population, and that's why you have the Austrian eagle there with the Austrian coat of arms. So I'm looking inside, and you can see nothing. Like there's nothing. There's not even a ladder up. Up here, it's just empty space. It's all decoration. Like, of course, it's not being used for anything. But if you look there, the bit being open, there's not even a way to get in there, other than to like climb on it, which I mean, not really worth the risk, but that's doable. Like climbing up there and then somehow getting from there over there, and then you could get in. This is the side that you would enter. It says Benvenido. Here we arrived at the miniature town of Lindenhof Park. They have like a small little mini city.
Olá, tudo bem?
Olá.
Pra ti?
Eu queria uma passagem para uma pessoa. Você fala alemão? Não. Oi.
Bist du Österreicher oder Deutsch oder was?
Ich bin von den Niederlanden.
Ah, Niederlande, aber nicht Deutsch reden.
Wir haben Deutsch auf der Schule.
Ah, aha. Wollten Sie den Park anschauen? Mittagessen auch?
Und wie viel kostet das? Ich habe das.
Das kostet, wenn du nur anschauen,
Ja.
kostet 20 Reais.
20.
20. Und wenn du Mittagessen, dann ist 90 mit alles zusammen.
Okay.
Mit der Eintritt, der Mittagessen, dann kriegst du eine Nachspeise auch. Das ist die Apfelstube, kennst du?
Okay.
Aber du verstehst gut, ja.
Ja, aber den Österreicher haben ein
bisschen.
etwas anderes Akzent.
Genau.
Aber ich verstehe das
Aber du
meist.
verstehst am meisten.
Ja.
Ja, sicher.
Aber Sie sind Tiroler.
Na, ich war 30 Jahre in Vorarlberg. Aber in der Stadt, die meisten sind Tiroler.
Ja, das habe ich gehört.
Das ist gut.
Aber weißt du, aus den meisten Leuten Südtiroler oder
Südtiroler sind auch ein paar hier.
Aber
Aber sie sind weggegangen von Österreich, wo noch nach Österreich gehört.
wo das noch
vor dem Krieg.
Österreich gehört hat. Genau.
Und damals haben sie nicht Italienisch. Bei dem Gebäude da haben wir die Mini-Stadt. Das ist eine Miniatur vom Dreizehnlinden.
Aber das ist die Stadt.
Ja, von dieser Stadt,
Ja,
Dreizehnlinden. Ja.
Ja.
Da drinnen, oder? Da ist der Restaurant.
Okay,
Gleich Mittagessen willst, kannst du gleich gehen, oder?
ja, schön.
Okay?
Dann soll ich das auch erst machen.
Ja,
und dann
du
können wir
kannst.
sehen.
Ja. Da ist jemand, da zeigt dir alles, okay?
Dankeschön.
Und wenn etwas ist, kommst du hier.
Here you have a miniature town of the city that we are in right now. But it seems a much older version of it than right now. Right now a lot of the empty space is taken up by new buildings. Here you have pictures everywhere of what it used to look like, what they based it off of. And they have all these trucks and tractors everywhere. Okay, so here we have this chapel. But some of these buildings are quite a few decades old. Maybe not 100 years old, but quite a few decades for sure. And that's nice to see. And as we heard just a few minutes ago, you still have people here, several people, that speak German. They might need to go and get the German guy and you need to ask for it, but there will be one a lot of the time. And here we have a little miniature house where Jesus grew up. Here at the top you have all the Brazilian state flags, or at least most of them. And then here the Brazilian and the Austrian flag. Oh no, that's like the old Brazilian flag. Hotel Restaurant Mozart, Dreizehnlinden. Yeah, this is like the city hall building, which this one looks like a lot more fake than the other ones because it's like all the proportions are like all so unreal. And now they close everything and turn the lights on. That's nice to see it in a different way. Here they have like a massive swimming pool. Ich spreche auch Deutsch, sprichst du Deutsch?
Ja, bisschen schon.
Gut.
So,
Ja.
so in ein Restaurant, der redet alles Deutsche.
Ja, ich habe mit ihm gesprochen.
Ja,
Ja,
gute Reise, Kollege.
Dankeschön. Tschüss. Okay, so here you have the toilets, and then we can walk around this way. I don't know, it's just like a bunch of random stuff here. Oh, and here like a little Christ the Redeemer statue, or something of that sort, a little Jesus statue with a little waterfall. That's a funny birdhouse, like in the shape of a little man. What do we have here? It's very chill and relaxed atmosphere here. I really like it. You have a little chapel with some water around it as well. That looks like emus to me. They're not native to Brazil. And here we have some sheep. Very European. Always good, some sheep. A little pond with some bridges to it and statues of some guys, but I don't know what animals they're supposed to have in this area. Here's some ponies. Eu falo alemão.
Fala, com certeza. O nosso já é mais quebrado, né? O que a gente fala aqui é o Hundschick, né? Que é o mais quebrado do que o de vocês, né?
Isso é mais do Áustria.
É.
Mas generalmente no Brasil isso é mais Hundschick.
Aham, viu?
Mas aqui é da Áustria, especificamente.
Então.
Isso é um pouco diferente. Here we have a little lake with the restaurant, which is encompassed by the park. Here we have some other small little houses and some place for your Instagram pictures. Here is the little house for the ponies that we saw earlier. Here you can see how fat you are. Okay, let's see how fat I am. Okay, so we got a little bit, but still sexy, and then very sexy, and then sexy, and then kinda sexy, estiloso, whatever that means, and then slim, so then like kind of slim, then magro, which is like thin, and then super thin. So I have to press for that one. And then super thin. Extremely thin. Okay. So I'm not extremely thin. They're trying to make Instagram pictures. Okay, so this should be open. Yes, it is. But it has a latch that automatically closes so the animals don't get in. German music. Here you have a little thing to sit on the lake. That's such a weird thing in Brazil. Like you go from one place to another and it goes from really nice to like kind of poverty pretty quick sometimes. But in these southern states it's much better and there's much less poverty. The standard of living is much higher and there's a lot more of this.
Wollen Sie Mittagessen?
Ja.
Dann kannst du dein Essen nehmen, was du willst.
Ja.
Und dann kannst du den Tisch essen, alles. Wenn du nochmal willst, musst du nochmal holen. Bist du satt, dann kannst du noch den Apfel. Gut. Okay?
Here we have some kind of German, Austrian pasta of some sort, which is very typical. And we have some simple spaghetti and rice and some schnitzel with ham and cheese and some tomato sauce. And here we have some other good meat. And here I got some fruit. And I'll get a drink. Ich will auch etwas zu trinken.
Was zu trinken?
Ja.
Was willst du? Magst
Saft,
oder Bier?
ja.
Nicht dann Bier?
Kein Bier.
Nein. Wir haben Saft. Wie eine Sirup.
Okay.
Sirup mit Mineralwasser. Die beste ist der grüne Apfel.
Ja?
Ja.
Was man da sagt.
Magst du eine?
Dies probieren.
Magst du eine?
Ja.
Grüne Apfel.
Wie viel kostet das?
12 Real. Guten Appetit.
Schön. Okay, there's some silly pirate clothing going on. I don't know what that's for, but...
Alles klar,
Ja.
Herr Kommissar.
Ja.
Wie gut, 114 macht dann alles. 90 das und 12. Jawohl.
Herzlich willkommen bei uns. Okay?
Dankeschön. Tschüss. A little souvenir shop. And that's the beauty here. It all looks like this. And sometimes you get an occasional house that looks a little bit less Austrian, but pretty much every house has a similar style. Here there's another gate that's also a bit of a monument. And then there you see a little statue that I want to check out. Everything in Portuguese. The buildings look Austrian. The dirt is red because we're in Brazil, and it smells like cows because it's like a dairy region and so on. So a lot of people that probably used to be farmers and so on. Okay, so here is the little statue. There we have a big company, which is just more Brazilian looking. But let me go and walk up to it for a little bit. This is a little golden Austrian man. Monumento o Tiroles, a monument to the people of Tirol that immigrated here. Here we have one of those Austrian looking houses, a statue, and Parque do Imigrante, so the park of the immigrants. And I don't think it's super big, but here you have some little area that you can walk out on with a bunch of flags on the water. There you have an area with some exercise equipment. Here the little bridge, but it's closed off right now it seems. And it seems like the wood is not in the best condition. Yeah, that's probably the reason why, because the bridge is kind of old and they really need to replace it. Here, the little restroom house also has little characters of a little German man and a little German woman up there in Austrian Tracht, the traditional Austrian clothing. Throughout the park you have these little houses on a stick with stuff about the Bible written on it. Little wooden cabin, which is supposed to be some type of shop of some sort. I'm not sure. Or some type of community building, but it's closed right now because it's Sunday. Yeah, it's some type of community building.
Warst du auch in die Wasserfälle dort in Foz do Iguaçu? Warst du schon?
Ja, bin ich auch gewesen.
Ja?
Ja,
Ah,
sehr
ja.
schön.
Schön, ne?
Ja, sicher.
Warst du schon in die Lindendorf?
Habe ich gesehen. Ja,
Hast du schon?
da bin ich gewesen.
Ja.
Und ich wollte noch etwas anderes
Willst du eine Karte? Hast du eine Karte?
Ich habe eine
Hast
Karte
du eine?
auf dem Auto. Ja.
Ah ja, ich habe hier Karten. Ja.
Dankeschön.
Gutes Spazieren, ne?
Ja, sicher.
Alles
Tschüss.
Gute. Tschüss.
Here, a big apartment building that's being worked on. Here we have the municipality building of the city, which is in a bit more of a like absurd version of the Austrian style. A lot of the houses are very much like they are in Austria. Like you can see here, they just have a bit more advertising, but generally it's not that different. Here you have the street. It's all like the road infrastructure is as it is in most of the Americas. but the houses and the buildings are almost all Austrian looking or very close to it. And here we have a little park with some water that's being pumped up, which you can hear the pump really loud. But the park is being worked on at this time. And here there's a little building that's also a monument to immigration from Tyrol. There's a little park for kids to play. Here another building. Here you have Hotel Tyrol and the restaurant besides it. There you have the Eagle of Tyrol, which is also on their flag. And there behind that other building also has it. And here's some new development being built with the bricks that they use very commonly here in this region. And then they might style it to look different on the outside, but the walls will be made of these bricks a lot of the time, really regardless of the area that you're in. Treze Tílias, Brazil, and then Brazil, Austria. And this is the museum, but it's closed right now because it's a Sunday. A lot of the buildings that look Austrian are hotels, but also a lot of the other ones are just houses. Here we have some that just look normal, modern Brazilian, but they're a little bit more tucked away and not on one of the main streets. And this one, I don't know what the intent was here exactly, but it has some influence, but not in the same way, in a very different way. And window covers do have the Austrian colors on them. There in the distance we have a really big resort with a really big swimming pool that we saw in the little miniature town. Here they have their water in one of these tanks. And then there's some sort of bus service company that fills it up again. But this house does look more modern, but it's still in a similarly consistent style, which is nice. Here you have a cow in the middle of a roundabout, kind of, and here's some other buildings that look very nice. Here there's a viewing point and a big monument to Tyrol with the Eagle of Tyrol again. These are the cute little trash cans that they have here. Very nice. This is the guy that founded the town. It's a little worn away and the plaques are missing. Okay, so this eagle for the people of Tyrol and to another extent the larger Germanic peoples is a symbol of freedom. In a similar way as it is the American eagle for Americans. I just stopped for a little second at some random farm. Here you see a typical chicken farm, I think it is in this instance. And farmhouse over there, and they have a little old Volkswagen Beetle, which is always fun to see. So here you have a pig barn, long one, and over there is another farm, and they have an even longer one, and have some chickens just walking around. And here I think they feed through this door, and there is like a big tank of like big shit. Here you have another big barn. This one is longer than the other one of the other farm, and it's really long. This one, they're not that wide, but they're really long, and they have some kind of feeding system, I think with like an escalator of some sort. Here there's some other farmhouse or shed.